Hello and welcome to the Hot Dog and Handshake Pro Wrestling Show. I am your host, Jayden and Joining me is my co-host, Shane Price. Shane, how you doing this week?
I'm pretty good.
All right. My collar and elbow question for you this week, Shane. How long until WWE at least attempts to debut a fully AI wrestler? There were news reports this week. Meltzer reported on it months ago that WWE has been using AI for storytelling. They've obviously been using AI for video packages since the first El Grande Americano package. How long until they try to debut an AI wrestler?
Next year.
Next year, 2027?
It's gonna be one of those fucking college athletes they have.
Do you think it'll be at WrestleMania 44 in Tel Aviv?
Yeah. It'll be the
No, I don't even mean
it'll
like a wrestler whose gimmick is AI. No. I mean a fully AI creation. Like that.
yeah,
Remember,
sure.
like a few months. Okay, you said like one of those college athletes they have, but like, no, I mean like fully AI. Like, I don't remember the name of it, but remember like last year they tried bringing out this like AI actress. Do you remember that?
Oh, that I don't. It'd
What
be
was her
hard to
name?
do because of the
Tilly
live.
Norwood.
I guess just like cinematics matches.
Yeah. Would you be surprised?
No.
Yeah, I really want it. Okay, sticking with WWE and horrible decisions. This is our yearly game of where will they go next. Every time WWE does a round of releases, obviously it's horrible, but we like to focus on the positives. We like to focus on where are these people going, what cool things could happen now that they're out of WWE, because the world of wrestling is so much greater than just WWE. So there's so many awesome opportunities, hopefully, for these people. So we kind of try to play a little prediction game to see where they will go next. Obviously, it's horrible that all these people lost their jobs, especially some of those younger guys in NXT who didn't really have the chance to establish themselves as a name. So I didn't list everybody here. There were roughly 20 releases. I have 13 here. I guess 14 if you count the machine guns as two separate guys. But let's start with. I'm going to go from the bottom of my list up to the top. So Santos Escobar. Where's he going
Who
next?
is CMLL?
CMLL? Then he goes CMLL. Was he originally a CMLL guy or was he a AAA guy? I mean, I know AAA is probably is out of the question now because WWE released him. They would have just sent him there, but because I found
Um,
out about him when he came to NXT, I wasn't really big on Lucha at the time. That's
he
kind of a
was
more recent
CMLL
one.
originally, but he then made a jump to AAA,
Okay.
which normally would confuse things, but I don't think will because he almost went to CMLL last year.
Okay. And also, we've seen a little bit of healing there. Like, remember the time that Mystico teamed with the Lucha Bros in AEW before the Lucha Bros left? Like, there's some, hopefully, a little bit more healing there. Zelina Vega and Aleister Black were released. I don't know if you want to, if you have any pitches for them together, but we could do them separately too. Zelina and Aleister.
I don't know.
Don't know.
Twitch.
Twitch. Yeah. Um, Aleister Black, Malachi Black. I don't think there's a place for him really in AEW anymore. I think he would be a fun kind of indie part timer. Like if he popped up in GCW once every 4 months and really gave it his all when he did, I wouldn't hate it if he, popped up in Defy or MLW, like just a guy who just kind of an indie guy, kind of bouncing around, but not doing like a show every weekend, like just kind of here and there. I think would be fun. I think also he seems like a guy that would be a great trainer. Like I kind of get that vibe off of him that he would be really good at if he opened a school.
He does already have a school, to be fair.
He does. Okay, I didn't know if he did or not. He just seemed like the right kind of guy. Zelina, I mean
Twitch.
Twitch, but like
I think she's done.
her managing Andrade was pretty awesome. They were a pretty great combo. I want to be mad at her in AEW pulling Andrade away from the Don Callis family and doing a run together again. Um, but yeah, I could also see her just doing the Twitch thing and maybe an occasional wrestling appearance. What about Alba Fire?
I could see AEW having interest. I could see TNA having interest. I could see Progress having interest. I could see
Yeah,
a stop in Eve before we go into AEW. I think is most realistic to me.
I feel like Alba Fire in they'd have to change the name obviously, but Alba Fire joining in with the Triangle of Madness would be pretty sick. There's the idea of an Alba Fire Tekla tag team. Sounds pretty awesome. Um, I think we could see. Yeah, we could definitely see that. Again, she's another one that could just kind of bounce around the indies. What do you see for the future of Andre Chase? Long time in NXT. I mean,
TNA at
TNA.
most. MLW.
I think continuing to do the university gimmick on the indies under a different name would be fun, and he would be, if he did that, he would be a really fun yearly like clusterfuck participant, just coming in doing like the U doing his whole bit for 2 minutes or whatever.
Especially if like it's if he becomes like the yearly like Alex Abrahantes was this year, where he just shows up, introduces a new enrollee to his university, and it's some random indie guy.
Yeah. What about Apollo Cruz?
Dragon Gate.
Dragon Gate? All right.
Yeah.
I could see him being an occasional player in Ring of Honor, just kind of popping up here and there. Seeing that Twitter post every once in a while, like, oh, Apollo Crews competed on Ring of Honor against Gravity. That's cool. And then just not watching it, moving on. And then next up here, WWE kind of finally realized that they weren't profiting that much off of Bray Wyatt's death anymore, so they decided to release the Bray Wyatt tribute act, the Wyatt Six. I think obviously WWE is a shitty company on so many levels, but bringing these people in to do this, never really giving them room to shine, and then just I don't know, cutting them like this goes to show that they were just trying to make money off of Bray's death, that this wasn't about actually giving a proper tribute to somebody they loved. So I guess, what about Rowan? What do you see for Rowan?
He's done.
Retirement?
Yeah.
He would be a fun retirement, but he would also be a fun yearly clusterfuck competitor.
Yeah.
Just popping up
Or like
Mania weekend.
just showing up in a random last match at spring break too.
Dude, next year, Eric Rowan's last match versus Brody Lee Jr.
That'd be fun. actually.
That would be pretty awesome. That'd be pretty awesome. Um, Nikki Cross. I saw she filed to trademark Nikki Storm again. I think that's what she went by pre WWE.
Her stock is really low compared to how it used to be. I guess I could see TNA.
TNA,
I could
Ring of
see
Honor.
Ring of Honor,
I think it would be
Progress.
fun if she brought the superhero gimmick back. I don't think we have enough superhero gimmicks in wrestling these days. That could be really fun. Yeah, I could see that. MLW, another spot you could see her going. Um, Dexter Loomis, back to NXT. Sam Shaw returns. Or not NXT, TNA. Back to TNA. Sam Shaw returns.
Mm, yeah, no, yeah, because
That
of
seems,
where Indy went, it makes too much sense.
yeah. Joe Gacy.
It could be anywhere. I mean, shit.
No, it's one place and one place only. The next time Atticus Cogar defends that belt, right as the cameras are about to go off, somebody should pop up behind him and it should be fucking Joe Gacy.
Yeah.
That's the only answer. I can't believe you were willing to just be like, oh, anywhere. That's the answer.
Well, he fits in everywhere. To be fair, he fits in
Yeah,
everywhere.
yeah.
He can wrestle any style. GCW makes the most sense historically, but he can do AEW. He can do TNA. He can do MLW.
But
I wasn't
because
trying to
he can
limit him,
wrestle
I
any
guess.
style, including the hardcore so well, that's why GCW is the perfect spot, because you can throw him in there with Atticus Cogar, but you could also throw him in there with Gringo Loco, and he could have a banger. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
You could throw him in any kind of way.
Yeah.
He's got to be in GCW. He's got to be a main player in GCW. And then what do you see for Bo Dallas?
Uh, I
Bo
don't.
Rotunda.
I don't know.
Yeah, I really don't know what
Don't
this one
know.
is.
That's a good question.
Bo Dallas is probably the most puzzling of the like recognizable names, because he could just hang him up and we never hear from him again. He could go on like recognizable indies. He could be on the kind of indies that bring him in so that they can put former WWE wrestler Bo Dallas on the poster. And that way they can charge $20 for tickets to the show instead of 15. You know, I really don't know. It is just completely open. All right, big two here. Kairi Sane. I mean, this is
Stardom.
probably the one I'm most excited for.
Stardom.
Stardom.
Or Marigold. You never know.
I'm hoping Stardom so we could get her on some of the New Japan AEW crossover stuff. That's what I'm in CMLL. Stardom because I want her somewhere in the AEW verse, so that maybe we could get that match with Mercedes again, or I mean, Kairi and Willow, Kairi and Tony Storm, Mina Shirakawa, Persephone. Like, there's so many great matches that could be had right now in the AEW verse regarding Kairi. Kairi Athena would fucking rule. This is the one I'm excited for. I really liked her last in between WWE run, so to see her back out there, I'm really excited. And then Motor City Machine Guns were released, and earlier this week in their interview after winning the IWGP Tag Titles, Robbie Eagles of the Ichiban Sweet Boys welcomed in the Machine Guns for a challenge.
I personally think they're going to do a short tour for their band. So
Mhm.
be out for a couple of months.
Yeah.
I'll put them back in the. I'll have them come back in the summer. Either they're going to be in AEW first, or they're going to answer the talent at some point.
Yeah. Yeah, that would be that's I think AEW is the place. I think Motor City Machine Guns versus the Young Bucks would be just such a huge move for All In. I think that would be just a great matchup. So I would also like Arrow versus Era, Machine Guns versus Cope and Christian. I think would be fun. Just as like a maybe on a special Dynamite or something. It doesn't have to be like a huge pay per view match, but I think that'd be fun. So yeah, that's those are the WWE releases, the yearly post WrestleMania cuts to try to make the quarterly numbers look even better, make WrestleMania look even more successful than it was. Um, last thing on WWE here, as far as the news, before we get into our main topics for today's show, NXT, the debut of Evil as well as the debut of Will Cruz. Um, what'd you think of that bit? What do you think of Evil in NXT?
I can't believe Evil is going to be this big mega star at NXT. I
Yeah, I don't know. It's so weird because like as far as the tribalism of it, it's funny that people like there are some there's I know they're a minority, but there are a minority of schizophrenics who are talking about this like NXT stole one from AEW because they don't realize that like the American audience, the people who watch AEW don't fuck with Evil. Evil was over in Japan as a heel, but not in America. In America, he had like we hate you because you suck heat, not we hate you because you're a good heel heat. I don't
They
know. It's
did
just
steal him from
such
AEW though. They did steal someone from AEW though. It's not Evil.
yeah.
I think Will Cruz has a Japan
Dude.
first style, I guess.
Mm-hmm.
But he would fit more AEW more than he would WWE. They're gonna neuter him in WWE, dude.
Oh, I'm sure they are. Unless they do the Tavion Heights thing where they let him go wrestle in Noah's version of the G1, whatever theirs is called. I can't remember. Um,
He already has experience in Noah, so they really should.
yeah. Um, but yeah. It's just he's such a weird guy because like technically yes they took somebody from the AEW side of the wrestling divorce, but it's not a guy we fuck with. Like it's what is the equivalent here? Is it like AEW signing like Austin Theory
Yeah,
where where it's like I guess technically they took somebody from WWE, but it's a guy that like not even WWE fans really fuck with. Like it's I don't know. I don't even know how to explain it. But yeah, it's so weird. Um. All right. Our main topic for this episode. We will get to wrestling Dontaku predictions after this, but first, about this time last year, we did a 35 under 35 list where we talked about some of the best wrestlers in the game under 35 years old. This year, we're switching it. We're doing 35 over 35, and instead of doing one combined list, we each brought our own separate lists to try to debate out here. Not really debate, but just kind of talk about our people. Um, the way I think we should do this is we'll just go from 35 up to 1, alternate back and forth. And if somebody, we'll just kind of talk about somebody when they come up. So if whoever Shane says at 35, I have at 31, we'll just talk about him then, and then when we get to my turn on 31, we'll just kind of move on. So, um, this list was tough, man. Like before we really get into it, like I think I got down to 35 people pretty quickly, but once I got it down to those 35, it was really hard to order them, especially once you got to the top 10.
My my top four were instantaneous. I knew who I had top four right away.
Yeah.
Outside of that, it was
Did you know what order you would have them in right away, or just who the four would be?
a couple I debated on, like 1 and 2 I debated on, but most part,
Mhm.
yeah, no, I have a pretty clear opinion on them.
Yeah, okay. For me, it was tough once I got to the top 10, arranging them. Like I kind of knew. I think I kind of knew who would be the. Yeah, it's just it's so tough. Okay, we'll get into it as we go, I guess. I'm giving mine just the once more over to make sure I don't want to flip anybody here. Okay. I think I'm good. I think I like where I'm at here. I do have a couple honorable mentions. First, two guys who didn't make my list that I do want to give shouts to: Eddie Kingston and Pac. I think both have been great. I think Eddie Kingston's post-injury run has been a little underwhelming. I'd like to see them do a little bit more with him. I think Pac's been on a roll with the Death Riders, but he just didn't quite make my list. That being said, I guess Shane, do you have any honorable mentions?
Yeah, I do. We're
Okay.
gonna start with uh, oh God, damn it, 1 second. Mance Warren, Josh Alexander is one of them.
Okay. Okay. He was on my long list at one point.
He uh, he was the guy in TNA, but ever since he's come to AEW, he's kind of been I guess underwhelming of sorts.
I think he's working his way up. I think he's started in the middle, kind of dropped, was kind of hot just off the debut, kind of dropped down a little bit, and he's working his way up. I think it's a regular wrestling trajectory.
And also, Kyle O'Reilly just was out for so long that he kind of fell off the face of the earth for me in a way.
Okay. Um, that is fair. I think he definitely was lower. He's definitely was lower. We'll get to him in a little bit, but he was definitely lower on my list than I typically probably would have him, probably because of that recent injury. All right, do you want to go first with 35, or do you want me to?
Because I know damn well my 35 is not on your 35.
Okay.
My number 35 is only this low because of what he has done to his own career. Just an endless choices that are incorrect for your career. Was stuck in a goddamn vortex of one promotion, one failing promotion.
I know exactly who this is.
Yeah, you do probably do. Going to bouncing around now other failing promotions. I know 0-1 has has a couple of draws, but they're still not selling a lot of tickets, which is
Maybe you
a
should book them.
failure. A failure in my end. I'm dropping the ball here. Um, it's Nakajima, the 35. He is, in my opinion, top 20 in the ring right now, regardless of age. It's just the fact that he's kind of torpedoed his own career.
Yeah, like he's one of those guys who's like, what I've seen of him has been pretty cool. It's just he's not really in the companies that I see. Like I just don't see a lot of him. I'm trying to think of like a sports comp, like somebody who just kept going to the wrong teams. Like just was great, but just it's kind of like recent Kevin Durant, where it was like the Nets thing was just a mistake. The Suns thing just wasn't going to work out. Like he just keeps being in the wrong place. So
Honest to God, I think that's a great comp because you look at how he was this huge name in Noah, and he moves to All Japan, and it just flames out immediately, and he just starts bouncing around and not doing well.
yeah, yep. Um, my number 35 is someone who probably should be a lot higher based on talent, but it's just a lot of this is booking for her. I'm going Bailey at 35. Um, I still feel like she's one of the best women's wrestlers out there. I still am intrigued by anything they do with her, even watching from afar. I felt like her just kind of being shoved in as like a just another player in the tag team thing at WrestleMania was kind of a misuse. Like I feel like she could be doing bigger things. Um, and just what's it's unfortunate when the booking has brought someone like Bailey to a point where she's being completely overshadowed by the Page return. You know what I mean? Like it's just that's really disappointing. I think booking is really the reason she's lower here. I think there's definitely people on my list that she's better than higher, but it's just it's tough for her. So I went Bailey
I,
35.
I think it's interesting that both of our 35s are not because of their not that low because they're not as good in ring. It's just booking, whether
Outside force. Yeah.
their
Yeah.
own choices or the booker's choices.
Yep. All right. Who's your 34?
I'm going with. So I got two GCW picks back to back. I'll explain both of them and why they're in the order that they are. Obviously, they're lower just based on the fact that they're not TV wrestlers.
Mm-hmm.
Well, I guess one was for a lot of this year, but you know.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to 34, Mance Warner. Um,
Yeah.
the biggest breath of fresh air on the indies since he turned heel. Has
Yeah.
been carrying the weight of the indies since he's turned heel.
Mhm.
Was so goddamn good. He's now a face again.
Yeah. I had him on a short list at one point. It's just his TNA run lost so much stock with me that he's going to have to kind of build back out of it.
He was if he was still in TNA, he wouldn't have been on my list. But
He's off to a great start. Yeah.
quitting TNA, and immediately coming back to the Indies, immediately winning a title in a squash match, and everybody's loving it. Just put him back on my radar. Um,
Yep.
Before we get on to yours, I do have another honorable mentions. I just realized I put him on my list and not somebody else
Uh-huh.
on accident. Suwama, mainly a historical thing and what he's doing as a booker and a trainer over a wrestler, but he's still a very influential figure in All Japan.
Yeah. My 34, we mentioned him earlier, it's Kyle O'Reilly. He easily probably would be top 25 if it wasn't for just how recent we're doing this to his injury and him just kind of not necessarily losing stock while being hurt, but other people kind of moving above him. You know, it's that kind of thing where sometimes like in college football, you have a bye week and the team below you wins a good game and they hop you in the rankings. So yeah, I'm going with Kyle here. I think he's still incredible in ring. I think he's one of the better technical wrestlers we have going in American wrestling right now. He's really fun to watch. So in that run he had the last few months of last year before he got hurt was electric. So I really love Kyle O'Reilly. Have for a long time. It's cool to see him be able to be kind of in this spot. So Who's your 33?
My 33 is number 33 for a very similar reason to Sulama. Not mainly because of his in-ring ability, but he is pretty good in the ring. But it's the fact that he is leading the charge in terms of the indie scene and is now booking matches himself. He wrote 2 matches on his own, and they were the 2 best matches of the show. This is Joey Janela,
Mm-hmm.
who I know people who just don't like him at all, and it's understandable. He's not for everybody,
Mm-hmm.
but he wrote the Sandman match and he wrote the Brody Lee match, and those were my 2 favorite matches from Spring Break.
Yeah, that is definitely fair. This is definitely, based on the timing of when we're doing this, a very up time for Joey Janela, getting his props deservedly. He is a guy who I didn't really fuck with for a long time, but in recent years, his stuff with Brody Lee really brought me in a little bit more onto the Joey Janela train. So I think that's a respectable pick. I I don't know. It's just 35 is sounds like a lot, but when you look at the context of all the wrestling that there is and all the wrestling, even narrowing it down to the wrestling we consume, I didn't find a spot for any GCW guys. But those are 2 good shouts there with Mance and Joey. My 33 is Becky Lynch. I think again she's probably like if we did this a couple years ago, like she's probably way higher. Um, I think this HA Lee feud had been strung on too long. I think even her time in the Intercontinental title scene has been kind of strung on too long, um, and it's getting kind of stale. But I do still think she's one of the more entertaining wrestlers out there. And I am still intrigued with what they do with her. Excuse me, sorry. Um, yeah, so I went 30. I went Becky Lynch 33. Who do you have 32?
32, I went back to Japan, but to a more stable Japanese group. Um, just because of how popular they are for the company they're currently in, popularity, and how they've been treated as the megastars, the new megastars of the company. I went with the Saito Bros.
Mm.
For those who are most likely unaware, which is probably all of our listeners at this point in time, the Saito Bros are big. They are charismatic. They are pretty decent in the ring.
And they are all you hear about from All Japan.
Yes.
If I'm
Yes.
hearing about All Japan, it's because of the Saito Bros. I don't see anything else from that promotion.
So it's them being decent in the ring, charismatic, big,
Mm-hmm.
and carrying a historical promotion on their back, pretty much.
Mm-hmm. That's a good show. My 32 is a guy who even like 4 months ago wouldn't have made this list. Wouldn't have probably even really considered him other than just for my own nostalgia. But Tommaso Ciampa's been on a fucking tear, man. His match with Darby this week was awesome. His whole little TNT title cup of coffee was really fun. Like Tommaso Ciampa's back, and it's so excited for me to see as a black and gold guy, as a Ciampa guy. I went with him 32,
I
and he's
put
32
him
climbing.
I put him way higher on my list.
Oh,
Just
did you really?
because of how good the run has been, and that this run is not coming to an end anytime soon.
That is true. I was thinking more in the moment, in the fact that it's only been a few months of this return to form for Ciampa. I think who knows? Like if we keep alternating like we do in 2 years, when we get to 35 over 35 again, who knows where Ciampa will be? But right now, or even if we did this in 6 months from now, if we did this in October, like who knows where he would be. But right now, I just have him pretty low because of he's still working his way back up that scene. Who you got at 31?
One of your honorable mentions. I have them back to back. Actually, I picked Eddie Kingston here.
Mm-hmm.
It is, as you said, his post injury run hasn't been fun. Hasn't been the best. But I did see one of his matches in person, and it was a great time. And also, he's working indie dates again. His match against Charlie Evans is a must watch, in my opinion.
Okay.
So I put him at 31. I think he's low because of the injury, but if they let him go in that indie run, I think he'll be pretty pretty higher up at this time next year.
Yeah, I think they really just need to find like a high profile feud to throw him in. Really, like Eddie. Like once we kind of get to the end of whatever's here with Darby and MJF, Eddie MJF would intrigue me quite a bit.
You could do a tag team run of Ortiz and Eddie too. That's
Mhm.
a good start.
Yeah, no, yeah, for sure. My 31, I'm going from the Hurt Syndicate here. I'm going Shelton Benjamin. I think, he's 50. That there's a reason he's not wrestling every week. But um, when he does, he's still just as exciting as when he was 30. uh, it's yeah, it's great to see. I think 31 just because the Hurt Syndicate had been off TV for a while, and because they don't really go every week. They're kind of more of a every few weeks kind of act. So he definitely could be higher on this list, but he settled in at 31 for me.
I um I threw him I threw them there as a tag team
Okay,
just
that's
because
fair.
I've used them like as a tag team nowadays.
Hmm.
But I definitely agree that they're both on my list for a reason. They're both very good.
Hmm. Yeah, I think I just put Shelton on mine. I didn't put Bobby on mine. Um,
And this may be just Kansas bias for putting Bobby on my list, but
yeah, that's fair. That's fair.
I've always liked Bobby.
Yeah, and it's just again, like I said earlier, like 35 in the grand scheme of things is a small amount of wrestlers. That is not a very big. I mean, WWE just released like 20 people like the other day. Like
It's true,
35 is not a huge number.
and some of them are on our lists. If probably no, not mine. Some of them could be on our list too, which is insane.
Yeah, like you could. I didn't put the machine guns on here. You could have argued for the Motor City Machine Guns on this list. So,
I would have heard it.
who you have at 30?
Pac. He's the
Did you
unsung
say sorry?
horse of
Oh, Pack. You said Pack.
yeah,
Pop.
the unsung horse of the Death Riders.
Yeah, he is. Yeah, and he's just he
The
doesn't
things that
shine as
he's
much
doing, the things he's
when
doing
they.
at his age, his moveset is insane.
Yeah, for real. He doesn't shine as much when they do like trios or 4-on-4s, 5-on-5s, whatever. But when they just throw him at whoever Mox is feuding with, it's an electric like 10-minute dynamite match every time. Like it is just awesome every single time. I do, yeah. Like I said, he barely missed my list. So, um, my 30, I think recent booking has really lost him some steam, but I do still think he's very, very good and very impressive. One for his age and because of his recent injury history. Randy Orton is still killing it.
Mm.
I mean, this is a guy. He's 46, so he would have been on this list every year for the past 11 years, and a lot of those years he probably would have been top 15, top 20 at worst. But right now, I think it was a lot of booking problems. Um, but you could see through some of that. Like if they would have just let him and Cody cook, it would have been awesome. It would have just been insane. So Randy comes in at number 30 for me. Who was your 29?
At 29 is somebody who I was very high on, and as you said, with if her age, you know, she would have been on this list for the past 9 years for me, and it wouldn't have been particularly close for she be at the top almost every time. Recent booking and injuries have brought her down, but for 29, I have Asuka.
Okay. Asuka did miss my list. Don't worry, I do have a few Joshis on here as we get through, but she did miss my list. She's been.
I limited myself to a couple, but
Yeah.
but number one is Shinobu Kandori.
There is a world where Shane's list is 34 Joshis and Eddie Kingston. There is a world where that's his list, but he did restrain himself.
Excuse me, 33 Eddie Kingston and Brody King. Come on.
Brody King, that's right. Yeah, I forgot. Yeah. All right. My 29 is one of the consistencies of his company recently at a time that has seen a lot of turnover. He's this weekend he's challenging for the IWGP World Title. I'm going Shingo Takagi. I think he has been so consistent for New Japan. He's been him, Goto, Zack Sabre Jr. Like these guys have been rocks that New Japan can lean on in a very tough time for them, roster wise. So I think Shingo, he's this is a rare time. Like you catch me from like anytime the past 6 years we did this, I would have had like up until like I guess maybe the past 6 years, but from like 2020 to 2024, I would have had so much New Japan talent on this list. And in the past couple of years, that has just kind of fallen apart. But Shingo is one of a couple New Japan guys who made it on here for me, and I think he's really been Mr. Consistency for them. Him and Goto both have been very consistent.
2017 on, I think that like we would have had mostly Japanese people on our lists if we were doing it for that long.
But the last couple years, it's just
the last couple years has been rough.
Yeah, but Shingo's been very consistent in that, so I want to shout him. Who do you have at 28?
I went with another talent out of Japan. I went with Tomohiro Ishii.
Yeah. Yep. He is one of those guys who I absolutely love, but just hasn't been important enough recently for me to justify him in the top 35. I think he missed my list just because he's been working a lot and he's been consistent. He just hasn't really been. I mean, like if the threshold to get in is Bailey for me, it was just hard for me to justify getting him up there. But I don't hate the pick. What do you want to say about Ishii here?
He's the guy you go to if you need somebody to have a fucking barn burner.
Mm-hmm.
He's the guy you go to.
That's fair. That's fair. Yeah, he's very much filled the role Suzuki left behind when he left New Japan, I feel like.
Yeah.
Like when you needed someone to just have like a fucking bar fight in the middle of a New Japan card, you would throw Suzuki in there, and now you throw Ishii in there.
I will say, Suzuki did not make my list, but I thought about it for a long time.
Yeah. My 28, a guy who it's shocking to me that he's 40. One of maybe not you being used the best right now, but he's making the best of what he's been given. and he's still a very good in ring talent, very good technical guy. I'm going Chad Gable here. A couple years ago, he would have been way high on this list for me, but right now he's the worst of two guys with his gimmick. Um, and I think the stuff I've seen from AAA though with him has been pretty great. And he's one of those guys who you can just applaud for. He keeps making something great out of just a pile of shit that he's being handed. So I'm going Chad Gable 28. I've been really impressed with him, and like I said, he probably would have been like top 15 2 years ago. We were so high on him for a minute there, but
We, yeah,
um, 27. Who you got?
I had Swam here originally, but I realized that I could not have the Young Bucks, so I just threw him in at 27. Um,
Okay, I have
it
them coming
worked
up.
for me. It worked for me because I wasn't a big fan of their run for most of the past couple of years.
Mm-hmm.
We do this list in 2022? They're way higher.
Mm-hmm. 2024, they might even miss the list for you, which
Honestly,
is
they might have, but
uh,
because I just could not stand their character, which was on purpose, was the point. But like,
let's see. I have them quite a bit higher. I will say I think their booking I didn't hate it as much as you did. That probably comes from you were more with them from their highest heights. I think you were more invested in them, so you want to see more than them for them. I didn't hate all the EVP stuff. I thought it was fine. Like I wasn't pissed off about it. I wasn't loving it, but they are still a bit higher than me because just every time you put them in the ring on a big show, they're delivering still. They're still the fucking Young Bucks. When it comes down, between those two bells, between those four ropes, like they are still the Young Bucks. Whatever happens outside of that may vary, but they're still the Young Bucks to me, and that's what's been consistent through all this. 27, a guy who honestly he might mostly be hurt from the fact that I don't consistently watch WWE anymore because he had been so great at the beginning of his run there. From what I got to see, Penta, absolutely one of the best in the world. Really, really entertaining. I love the bit that his entrance just keeps getting more pyro like every 3 weeks. It's incredible. I think he has been so interesting to see him get over in WWE the way he did and still be a great in ring guy. Um, so I'm going with Penta here. Who do you have at 26?
I had the Lucha Bros actually.
Okay.
um, Very funny that that happened the way it did. I had Lucha Bros. I think that as you said, they're hurting because we don't watch WWE so much.
Mm, yeah. I kept them separate because they are separate right now, and I couldn't really find it to put Ray Phoenix on this list. Um, and also honorable mention, he didn't make my list because he just came back for being out for a while. Rey Mysterio, fucking jumping into a ladder match at 50 whatever the fuck years old, like that was insane and deserves an honorable mention. He just didn't make my list because he's not there consistently. He's been injured recently, but yeah. But no, with the Lucha Bros, I feel like they put a lot more into Penta than they have Phoenix.
Which is stupid. Which is
I know.
stupid.
No, I know. I trust me. I know. You got anything else on them?
No, I don't. I mean, as you said, they're separate right now, but when they're together, they're incredible.
Yep. All right, it starts 26 here. This starts a run of AEW guys for me. Um, just kind of how it broke down. 26. This guy, I think, any point in the last few years, definitely would be on this list. I think he probably would have peaked much higher than he is now, but he's been kind of treading water for a little bit recently. I'm going Mark Briscoe here. He's still incredible
Oh,
every time he's in a big match, but it just seems it just seems like he's not really doing much recently. So I it when the question of what have you done for me lately comes up, he hasn't really done much. So a couple years ago, he's probably like top five. I was loving the ROH Championship Mark Briscoe run. That was really great. But right now, he just slid to 26. It's just there's so many other great guys right now.
I had him way higher,
Okay.
but that's understandable.
Yeah. That also might just be a personal taste. Again, like a personal taste, personal attachment kind of thing. Who do you have at 25?
I have Chad Gable.
Okay, so just a few spots higher than I had him.
This is entirely based on his recent work with Ludwig Kaiser, who is also on my list, but in a very surprising spot for you. I know you're gonna tell me, and you're never gonna leave what spot I have him in.
All right, he is on my list too. We'll get to him. Um, so yeah, what are your thoughts on Gable right now?
I think his work at AAA is revitalizing his career after a being stuck up a very terrible gimmick.
Mm,
Making that gimmick work at AAA, A. B. When they let him go, he's one of the best they have.
mm, yeah,
Um,
absolutely.
so he's just been given bad booking, and he would be top 10 if you put him in AW, probably, most likely.
Mm-hmm. All right, 25. You're probably gonna be mad at me for how low this guy is, but trust me, a year ago, he's an honorable mention at best. This is him climbing right now, and I don't think he's done climbing. I think he'll be higher on this list by the time it's all said and done. I have Brody King here. It's been an awesome time. I'm really high on him right now. I love him. I think I was really thinking he should have won the AW World Title at a point last year as like a shock win, kind of similar to what they did with Darby recently. But he has been incredible, and him at 25 is not him falling. This is him. He would have a green arrow by his name right now because this is him on his rise, and I don't think he's done. I think he's going to keep climbing this list, and when we get here in 2 years, who knows where he'll be? I wouldn't be shocked if he's top 10. He's just been incredible. So I want to say 25 with all the love and praise to Brody King. I'm sure you have him like number one, but
He's up there.
yeah, I'm sure you'll get to him later. All right, who's your 24?
Roosh.
Roosh. Okay. It's another shortlist guy who didn't really make my list. What's the case for Roosh?
I think it's another case of bad booking because Roosh has been super charismatic when you let him,
Hmm.
and has been awesome in the ring for 10 odd years that I've known him.
Yep.
And a little biased because I've always loved the Los Ingobernables, but
Hmm.
uh, he's just he reminds me of what a good lucha heavyweight could do in the United States, and that's a rare breed.
Yeah. Um. He with Roosh, I think he has been booked off of my list. I don't think it's his fault. He did have a pretty sweet match with Adam Priest on Collision this week. But I think yeah, he's one of those guys who, with the proper booking, probably would be on my list. I do every once in a while. I think about the time I put him against Ilya Dragunov in my TEW save, and I just giggle to myself because that's just like such an awesome matchup just to think about. But That's fair. I like Roosh. Just let me see. I have my yeah. He was on my short list. He just didn't quite make the final cut. Um, my 24 is a guy who in the past probably was number one. Or I guess and not real. No, not really, because that would have been before he was 35. But in the past, he's been towards the top of wrestling. Right now, it just doesn't always feel like he's at 100%, like giving his all. But when he really does turn on, he really turns it on. I'm going Kazuchika Okada here. Um, I think this was a tough place for me to put him, but I just couldn't. With the last like year or so of work, I couldn't put him above anybody that I have above him. Um, that it's just he's still very good in the ring when he wants to be. He's still incredibly entertaining. He might be the most entertaining outside the ring he's ever been right now, but I I don't know. It feels bad to put a guy like Okada this low. I just couldn't justify putting him any higher.
He actually missed my list. Um, he was like when we were starting to make these lists, he obviously like an instant add to my short list. But just thinking back on it, I just he's been phoning it in for so long that
Mm.
there was just no way I could put him above anybody I
He
have.
just he just every once in a while, fucking just when I'm out, he pulls me back in.
Yeah,
It's just what he does.
because like
It's just he just and I'm so excited for the idea of him and Takeshita at Double or Nothing. Like I've been liking what they've been doing, building that story. He just keeps pulling me back in, and it's hard for me to keep him off a list like this.
I can see a point where he's better than Nakajima, but Nakajima does it to himself, and he doesn't. Nakajima doesn't phone it in either. He's
Hmm.
still wrestling very well. It's just a
I
pain in
mean,
the ass to try to find it.
no, he's giving it all. He's giving it his all for a 32 and 50 team. Like
Yeah,
that's the Nakajima way. Yeah, yeah. No, you're right. Who'd you have at 23?
Nakajima's like Ish Smith on the 2016 Sixers.
Yeah, I've been saying that.
It came to me. Came to I had to throw it out there. Well, we're on 23, right?
Yeah, 23.
I have Shibata for
Okay, okay.
the same kind of booking thing. He's been
He missed
booked
my list.
pretty poorly.
Yeah, he
But
missed my list just due to
You
inactivity.
can't keep Shibata down.
Yeah. No, for sure, for sure. Um, yeah. No, definitely missed my list just because he hasn't been around much, especially since. Is he hurt right now?
I think
Or was he just
so.
out because Joe was hurt?
I think he was taking time off too. I'm not sure.
Yeah, he just he fell off my radar just because of inactivity. I think. I think like a year ago he probably would have been on my list. Probably not super high, but probably would have been on my list. 23. I think character wise in the ring has just been on an absolute tear. Is consistently one of the most underrated guys in wrestling. AEW Trios champ Roderick Strong. He is just. I'm so excited every time he's on my TV because he's just playing the straight man of the conglomeration. He's so funny. But he also just is. He's still the messiah of the backbreaker. Like he still is awesome in the ring. I've been loving old man Roderick Strong, so I'm going with him at 23.
He missed my list was based on the fact that I couldn't really think about anything he's done outside of the trios titles recently. It's
Mm-hmm.
he just missed my mind.
Yeah. Yep. Who you got at 22?
I have the Hurt Syndicate.
Okay. What's your case? What's your case here? I guess we talked about them a little bit. Do you have anything else
We
to add on?
did. I don't really have anything else to add other than that I just have liked both of them forever, and I'm a sucker for a good squash match.
Yep. 22. The end of my little AEW run here of five guys. The To me, just the heart and soul of the Death Riders, Claudio Castagnoli, man, he is just so good, and he has been since he first came on my screen in WWE 14 years ago or whatever. Like, he is just fucking awesome, and I love Claudio Castagnoli, and I think with the proper get behind, he could have been top 5 on this list. But he also seems really happy being where he's at, bouncing between CMLL and AEW, being the backbone of the Death Riders. Like, just he's so awesome, and he plays his role so well, but could be so much more. I'm really a big fan of Claudio Castagnoli, so it was just hard for just missed my top 20. Just hard for me to get him up there, but yeah, I'm going Claudio. Um,
He does pick in the top 20.
he does. Okay. Who do you have at 21?
I have Shingo Takagi. Um,
Okay.
Higher than
So a
you.
bit higher than I am.
Yeah, just based roughly on the fact that he's still a main event caliber guy for a
Mhm.
weak weak roster company who is I'm excited to watch.
Yep. That's fair. Okay. 21 might be a surprise to you that I have her on here. Definitely someone I expect to see on your list a little bit later. Not someone who comes across my desk a lot, but is just undeniable, and I couldn't keep her off this list. It's Shiri. She is so good every time. Like, really, she's probably only 21 because I don't consistently watch Stardom. But every time she does pop up on something I'm watching, it is epic. Like, she's just insane. So 21, I went with Shiri. That's my pick here. I imagine she's much higher on your list.
Yeah, she is.
Yeah. All right, top 20. Let's get it started. Who you got?
I have Teton.
Titan. Okay, that's not one I was expecting, honestly. Um,
This is total bias because I love the Ingobernables and also in my TEW save Teton joined my companies in mid Carter and was winning my main event title within 3 months.
there's something there's something about, like, in 2K when you're doing a rebuild and some random guy ends up on your team and does really well, or in TEW when you end up with a guy and he does. There's just something about having a guy in a video game that completely changes how you think about them outside of the game. I completely understand that. Like, that is just, yeah,
Teton is like not Jamal, DeJounte Murray for me.
yeah, yeah. That
The way
is.
you just explained is
I can see. Yeah, that's there you go. See, I was not expecting him to make the list. I don't know if he even made my short list, honestly. No, he didn't. He didn't even make my short list. So that's an out of nowhere pick. 20. This is my the highest New Japan guy I have on here. This he is a staple of Big Gay Brunch. I'm going Zack Sabre Jr. Um, Absolutely insane. He's still so good. The best technical wrestler in the world right now. He just um, he's just kind of stuck on a middling New Japan roster. And he does really shine on that roster, but it's still sometimes it's kind of a sinking ship, kind of brings everybody down. You know what I mean? And it's not like New Japan's going to completely sink, and you know what I mean? Like, they will eventually work their way back up, but it's just kind of brought down by being in New Japan right now. So, but everything he did Mania weekend was so great. I really loved that Abe match. So I'm going Zack Sabre Jr., one of my favorites right now at 20. Who's your 19?
Mina Shirakawa. Um,
Okay.
she'd probably be higher if she stayed in Japan, but if you put her Tony Storm in anything, it has been
Mm-hmm.
iconic, to say the least.
Mm-hmm. With Mina, she's one who definitely okay. She definitely could have made my list. I think. I don't know. I think she just hasn't really broke it out enough right now for me. Like she was probably she was a tough cut. I'll put it that way. She didn't quite make honorable mentions, but she was a tough cut. 19. This is where I have the better of the Grande Americanos. This is where I have Ludwig Kaiser. I think he took this the feat that he did, taking a like at best semi racist gimmick that used like AI slop and turning it into something so interesting. Like just the twist of like the difference. The way I would explain it is the difference is Chad Gable's character is a white guy pretending to be a luchador. Ludwig Kaiser's character is a white guy that thinks he's a luchador. Like that is fully believes in his heart that he is a luchador and he acts like it. He acts like the villain from Nacho Libre. Like it's just so good. And then he's so over in AAA.
Rest in peace, Silver King.
Recipe Silver King, yeah. Um, so great. And he's just recently 35, so he has a lot of years to climb this list. Like he has a lot of time ahead of him. Um, definitely, definitely a big shout for Ludwig Kaiser. Who do you have 18?
Claudio.
Okay, I talked about him a bit. Do you have anything to add for Claudio?
I think he has been carrying the CMLL heavyweight division in America and in Canada, also in Mexico. It's normally not the most like star powerful division as
Mhm.
compared to what Mexico's doing.
Yeah.
But he's put on good matches with everybody in there.
Well,
I
him
don't
and
know what's
Hechicero have been bringing it.
I don't know if he's done it yet, but Barbonero Carbonero will be an awesome match between the two of them.
Mhm. Yeah, no, that's a good pick. Good shout, Claudio. My 18, a guy who deserves better. Um, Probably the number one guy I wish was not in WWE right now. Sami Zayn. Just I know his stock dropped a little bit with the comedy set. But people make mistakes, and if he stays consistent on that path, I'll really turn on him. But I'm willing to grant him the grace of one mess up here, and it's just he's still so entertaining every time a Sami Zayn promo comes across my TikTok feed or my Twitter feed. Like I will stop and I will watch it all the way through because he's just so special on the mic and he's still great in the ring. Um, Definitely a guy that a few years ago would have been top 10 if we were doing this, back then. But right now he's still sitting at 18 for me with room to get back up there, especially if he leaves WWE. I don't know. You got anything on Sammy or
He didn't
did he
make
make,
my
make
list
your list?
just because of how I've not watched WWE, and from
Mm.
what I've seen of him in WWE is that the fans have turned on him. So he just missed my list.
Honestly, WWE fans turning on somebody is kind of becoming a plus for me at this point. Um, so so that really boosted him. Who do you have at 17?
Samoa Joe is my 17. I think that
I have him a bit
how
higher on my list, so I'll get to him in a bit.
how old is he? Uh,
He's 47.
he would have been on my list all those 12 years, and it would have been very close to him being anywhere near
I mean,
top 20.
shoot,
Just
like
consistency in a wrestler.
AEW title Joe could have been one on my list if we did this then. Um, Second NXT run Joe definitely would have been like top 5. Original NXT run Joe, if I was watching NXT at the time, would have been way up there. I know now from going back how awesome that was, but yeah, we'll get to Joe. I'll get talk more on Joe here in a little bit, but that's a great pick. 17 for me, another guy who is at 17 and rising, who is his actions are just always entertaining and hilarious. His new gimmick is so much fun, so funny, but he also can hold his own with the best of them in the ring. He can hold his own with Kinney, Hangman, whoever you throw him in there with. I'm going Andrade El Idolo. Um, just electric. So the company hopping has been so funny. Um, he's just such an entertaining guy, just so charismatic. There's not enough great words to describe how awesome Andrade El Idolo is. So 17, and it was tough to put him 17. I wanted to put him higher. Does he make your list?
He does. There are some people who I totally forgot about. And Andrade is almost one of them. But I reread the list he sent to me again, and I realized that, oh yeah, he's on. I need to put him on my list. So there's people who I don't have
He's also,
him.
he's only 36. He's pretty freshly qualified for this list.
Yeah, but I do have him because it comes up soon. Talk about him then for me.
Okay.
But I do. He's on my list. Yes.
Who's your 16?
Um. So we're gonna go back to Japan, and it's just because of when you put a team on your back, a la Greg Jennings, you put a team on your back like Kento Miyahara in All Japan. You were the only guy in that company putting on world class matches regularly. He needs to get out of there. he won't, but he needs to get out of there.
Yeah, that's might just be a blind spot for me, honestly. But
I think Kensei Sasaki, like Nakajima, trained by Sasaki.
okay, that's
Um,
good. That's a good
like
start.
Nakajima, is stuck on a dying ship.
Yep. All right. My 16. This guy definitely has been higher. Definitely would have been higher on this list years and years ago. But right now, the part time of it all, it was part of me originally didn't even really want to put him on here, but he's just kind of undeniable. I'm going Roman Reigns. I think the star power and like when he does go to work, he fucking goes to work. Like the praise I saw for that CM Punk match is unlike anything. And part of that is CM Punk. So there's a reason Punk's higher on the list than Reigns is. But I think I know we don't really like to consider like the gate and the ticket sales and the star power, but I think it has its place in wrestling, and you got to bring it up every once in a while. And for me, I think it's hard to leave Roman Reigns off a list like this. Still, even though he is pretty part timery, but so number 16, Roman Reigns. Did he make your list?
No, because of the whole part-timey thing of it all.
Mm-hmm.
Um, if we still had full-time Roman Reigns, he would easily be top 10.
Yeah, probably he would. Yeah, he would definitely be top 10 for me if he was still full time. I think, and I just couldn't bring myself to leave him on the list. I'm also just such a Shield guy. Like I love those guys so much. And um, so like it was tough. Like let me see. I love those guys so much, and like Seth didn't quite make my list. Um, just because I haven't really like he was definitely on the short list, but I just him being his injury problems recently, and he just hasn't even before that wasn't really in a great spot for me. So I couldn't bring myself to leave Roman and Seth off the list. So
Well,
who do you?
much like you and the Shield, I'm a huge Steen Jericho guy, and neither of them in my list.
Yeah, Kevin. Kevin didn't make my list just because of inactivity.
Yeah, Kevin was so close to being a top 15 guy for me. It just was not there.
He would have been way high up this list for me if he hadn't been injured. Yeah. All right, top 15. Who you got? Who you got at 15?
Andrade El Idolo. Even though he dropped off a GCW show I had tickets to,
Yeah, that does sting. That does sting.
hassle, but he is one of the best wrestlers AW has in terms of character and in the ring together.
Mm-hmm.
Puts it all together into one nice package. I wish more wrestlers would be like him, honestly.
Yeah, a nice package is kind of his whole gimmick.
It is, yes. Has been a star for AW. He's been a star for WWE. He's been a star for CMLL. He's a star everywhere he goes.
Yeah. Yep. He's even becoming like a semi New Japan star with his occasional appearances there.
Him and Gargano did not make my list. But him and Gargano having the first 5-star match WWE since Money in the Bank 2011 was a big part of why I became a big Andrade fan. That match in Philadelphia
was the single toughest cut for me off this list. Like, cutting Ray was hard, but it made sense. Just he's been injured so much recently, and but like it felt like it hurt my soul. Like, it took a little bit away from my life force to cut Gargano from this list. But it was the right decision. It had to be done.
He did not even touch my short list.
Mm-hmm. Let me see if I had him on the short list or if I cut him pretty early. I cut him pretty early, but it was still he wasn't on my short list, but it was still hard, still so hard. Next, my 15. This is where I have the Young Bucks. We talked about them a bit earlier, but the in ring just speaks for itself, and it's just too good to not have them this high. So I went Young Bucks 15. Who do you have 14?
Those fajitas, they came out sizzling. Speedball.
Okay. Speedball was a tough cut for me. I think I can almost unless he just has a catastrophic series of injuries or something. If we do this list again in 2 years, he will make my list for sure. He's just on the rise right now. He didn't quite make the cut. But what's your case for Speedball?
I've always been very high on Speedball, so this makes sense for me to be him and then to be on this list. But just A, total sweetheart. B, fantastic in the ring. Everywhere they went before AW, putting on good matches. In AW, putting on good matches. Revitalizing the trios division.
Yep.
Revitalizing the tag team division.
Mm-hmm.
Revitalizing the world title division.
Yep.
He's the breath of fresh air.
The fajita stock has not been this high in a long time.
Chili's is running off fajitas, dude.
Like it's crazy. Like, it's always been high. It's been fajitas. It's a steady stock. Like, you're gonna get something, but it's really going up because
they have not been sizzling since the meme became a thing.
Oh yeah, no, they've been sizzling. My 14, freshly squeezed Orange Cassidy. I think.
Wow, I have him way higher.
Even way higher? Okay.
Yeah.
Like I said, the closer we get to the end of this list, the harder it was for me to order these guys. So I could have had him like 9th. But just the way I ended up shaking, like, if catch me on a different day, maybe I had him 9th. But the way it shook out for me, I had him 14th. The conglomeration has been one of my favorite things in wrestling history. I had a moment during their match this week where Orange Cassidy was doing his thing, and I was just like, fuck, this guy's so entertaining. Like, this is just so much fun. Like, just one of those out-of-body things where you're just like, this is awesome. Always loved Orange Cassidy. I think he's great. I think, like I said, I could have had him higher. This is just from here on out, it was so tough for me to order these people. So props to Orange Cassidy. Who do you have 13?
I have the combined trio of FDR.
Okay, including Stokely Hathaway.
Yes, I'm including Silky Hathaway. I had to get on this list somehow.
Yeah. Well, let's talk about it a bit because I have. I mean, I guess I have them pretty soon. So
I mean, just by far the best tag team in professional wrestling. There's not much of a debate anymore.
it's yeah. No, I absolutely agree. Um, they are great. Stokely Hathaway is arguably the most entertaining non wrestler in wrestling right now. Like, probably is the most entertaining non wrestler in wrestling right now. Is arguably just the most entertaining person in wrestling right now.
Has
Uh,
been for years, in my opinion.
mhm. That's a great, yeah, that's a great pick. They're the best tag team in wrestling. They've been on such an awesome run, set such an awesome career, and they're at the top right now. So that's fair. I have them coming up pretty soon too. So we're pretty in lock there. My 13, I have Drew McIntyre. Um, I think he could have been booked a bit better for Mania, but he is still just so damn good. Like he's such a beast. That cup of coffee with the world title earlier this year, I thought was pretty cool and pretty interesting. And I love the idea of what he could be so much. They just haven't reached that height since like that the clash or the castle or whatever that was in Scotland. Like they just haven't gotten him back there since. But I'm still really high on Drew McIntyre, and I think this kind of list would be incomplete without him. So, is he on your list?
No, my list is really short on WWE names. It's because I have kind of mind hold most of them. I
Yeah,
could not tell you how they were doing.
yeah. No, I think me just from part of it is just that I like am on Fightful all the time to find news for this podcast, and then I think part of it is I've kept WWE a little bit more in my algorithms than you have since we both kind of dropped off. Um, since we both like fully dropped off last fall, but so I think I do still give a little bit more props to some of these WWE names. Plus, it's hard for me to blame the wrestlers for what Triple H and Nick Khan and TKO are doing. You know what I mean?
I mean,
Like
it's
it is.
true.
I do still want to give them their props. Who do you have 12?
This is Rocco Ciampa.
Okay.
As I
Why so
said,
much higher?
this run is put him on like best wrestler of the year lists for me. No, it's early,
Yeah.
but still the quality of this run and how every week just seems to be as good, if not better than last week.
Yeah.
He's proven himself up to be in this top 15.
And one of the things for me that I didn't mention earlier, but I just thought of and I thought I should brought up is like his promo game is at a place that it hasn't been since he lost the NXT title. Like since around that time of NXT, like his promo game has been so compelling. Like he's one of those guys. Like he's a compelling promo. So yeah, shouts to Ciampa. 12, this is where I have FTR. We just talked about them, so we can move to your 11 here.
We have Io Sky.
Oh wow! I have her way higher than you.
My top 10 is
Just Stardom and Marigold and TJPW and
yeah, sure, whatever, man.
um yeah
Number one is Aja Kong. Number two is Yumiko Hata. Number three is Tom Nakano somehow.
yeah. All right, so Io Sky, what's your case for her? What's
Just always, always this non-stop force in WWE putting on the best matches that they do every WrestleMania without fail, which is on the card. Big time player. is always doing something interesting.
Yep. Yeah, no, absolutely. That's all fair. Yeah, I have, like I said, I have her quite a bit higher. I think she is one of like 3 or 4 people that you could realistically argue to be the best overall wrestler in WWE right now. And a lot of people have her number one in WWE right now, which I think is totally fair. Um, yeah, like you said, she always shines so much brighter than the card she's on. Like she is always such like a diamond in the rough, no matter how bad everything around her is. And she's just so entertaining and so good. So yeah, shouts to you, Sky. 11. This is where I have Samoa Joe. We talked about him a bit earlier. There were versions of this where he was top 10, but he just kind of got kicked for me. Probably only because he's been injured for like 4 months. I think if he had been here that whole time, he probably would have made top 10 for me. But just so badass. I'm pumped. Like I'm every time his music hits, I'm ready to run through a brick wall. Like he is so exciting to me, like so few guys are right now. So it's awesome to see, especially to see him running like at 47. Like we said, like that's crazy that he's still this high caliber. So yeah, 11 is Joe. Who's all right? Now we're getting into our top 10 wrestlers over 35. Who's your top 10? Who's your number 10?
This is where I had Ludwig Kaiser.
Okay, fair.
I mean,
Um,
his El Grande Americano run has been must see TV.
yeah,
Props to Mark Calloway for somehow doing that.
yeah. I That's been the craziest of all of everything going on in WWE, of all of it. The craziest part has been how good the Undertaker is at booking lucha. Like, okay, think about it. How many luchadors do you think Undertaker ever wrestled? Like, we know
Rey
he wrestled
Mysterio,
Ray and Eddie. Did he ever wrestle
Eddie
Shampoo?
Guerrero, probably.
Probably on like a random SmackDown. Like, I don't know how many luchadors he ever would have been in the ring with. So it's so crazy that he's so tapped in and hasn't figured out. But yeah,
I mean,
so I guess shouts to the Undertaker.
He's Texas, he's probably stumbled across it at some point in his life. He is from Texas.
It's true. My number 10, and this is a guy who has been in the past year and a half, has been surging up the ranks and up this list, and I could not bring myself to take him out of the top 10. Ricochet, man, he's been so fucking awesome, like so good, and really revitalizing his career and bringing him back to what we knew he could be. So proud of Ricochet. So awesome to see where he's at. So yeah, I slotted him in top 10. Is he on? Did he make your list? Is he coming up?
He's one of those guys I totally forgot about.
Oh, okay.
And just couldn't find a spot for him on my list. I wanted to it would make sense for him, but wouldn't bump somebody out of the list who I thought should be in my list.
I just couldn't make this list without him. I thought he's been so good. He deserves all the roses, all the flowers. So, who do you have 9?
Mark Briscoe.
Okay. Why so much higher? What's the case for Mark Briscoe right now?
I know I've always been high on Mark Briscoe to start, but I just love the redneck chicken coop fighting style, for lack of better words, that he brings. It is just so fun to watch.
Yeah, no, he fights like a quartered meth head. It's yeah. In it, parentheses complimentary.
like if you told me that Orange Cassidy gave him $5 the other day, and if someone on the street gave him $5, and that's why he's wrestling for the collaboration, I'd believe it.
Yeah, dude. That's. Yeah.
But that's part of the that's
Num-
part of the appeal.
mm, number 9 for me is the only name on this list that when I was putting into like promotion next to them, the one that made my list where that promotion says ROH, because she is the heart and soul. She is the life. She's the everything. She's the heart, the soul, the brain, the liver. She's everything of ROH. Athena, like, so good. Only qualifies for the over 35 the last 2 years, but has been towards the top of like any conceivable wrestling list for the last however many years that she's been doing this ROH run. Like, absolutely insane. Like, unbelievable that she hasn't been on more like main roster AEW stuff. Like, I don't know what Tony Khan has against her, but Ring of Honor Tony Khan loves her, and he's doing so great with her. So number 9, Athena. Who's your number 8?
Brody King.
What's the case for him? Why so much higher than I had him?
Um, I just love big dudes who do stupid shit like Brody King. Um, being a fan of the House of Black forever, being a fan of Brody in Ring of Honor forever. I love seeing him in this spot where I knew he always could be.
Mm-hmm.
And I've always found him to be an exciting wrestler in the ring too.
It is crazy just to like. I first found Brody King when he was Marty Skrull's heavy, like that, going to all the way to now. Um, okay, we had to pause there for a second because in Shane's words, he was looking for a prop. So, anyway, back to what I was saying. Brody King, I found him. He was Marty Skrull's heavy, and now to see him all the way, like he went through Reseda and he went, up the ranks of AEW through the House of Black and everything. Like, it's so cool to see Brody King where he is now. So it is. You know what? I don't hate the pick having him top 10. He just wasn't quite there for me, but he could be in 2 years when we do this list. What's
All
your
right,
prop? Are you ready for it now, or is it for later?
right now.
So is this his? Oh, is this
This is
his band,
hardcore. Like, yeah, his band. This is his
the
record.
vinyl?
Um, I've had it for multiple years. I've had it since the House of Black was like just starting out.
Mm-hmm. And is that a samurai skeleton with an Uzi on the cover?
You fucking bet it is, dude.
Dude, okay.
He's he's
That,
akimboing that shit. And the
if there
inside's got
was
this like
any room
awesome
left on his
design.
body, that looks like something Brody would have tattooed on him.
I think that's the point. And he has also got the ski mask on the
Nice,
back.
nice.
Had
Uh,
to pull out the prop for an audio podcast.
yep. There you go. So that was your 8, right? That's where we're at.
Yeah.
My 8.
Also, it's blue.
Nice. I love when a record is a fun color. Um, my 8 goes to Cody Rhodes. He's still just he's got something to him, man. Like, he just the star power, and just you see him and you're like, that's a professional wrestler right there. Like, just the him wanting to do an eye patch and Triple H not letting him, like, was such a fun, like, that's so Cody Rhodes story. Um there's just something about him that, like, you just see Cody Rhodes and you're like, I'm in. I'm down. Let's go. Let's do this. It's the theme song, the look, the actual wrestling, the promos. Like, he's such a complete package. So Cody Rhodes, number 8 for me. Who's number 7 for you?
Gunther.
Gunther. Okay, I'll have him coming up, but we can talk about him here.
Just a
What?
complete wrestler's wrestler. He's only number 7. I don't watch his matches all enough.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's fair. I think he's just a beast. He is a guy who can do literally everything. Like, he's like the wrestling equivalent of a guy that can guard all 5 positions. Like you just look at Guthrie like that guy's he's incapable of failure. Like
Shame
it's
on Green.
so good. Yeah. My number 7, also a WWE pick here. This is where I have CM Punk. Um, tough slide for me. He's one of my favorites, but I think I just barely couldn't get him any higher on this list. He is still so good. He's still arguably the best part of anything most of honestly probably 75% of what I see from WWE is just whatever CM Punk is doing. Um, and I'm happy with that. Like that's the best way to consume WWE. It's just to watch it for CM Punk. So yeah, awesome. He put on what has been acclaimed as like the best match on Mania. I haven't gotten around to watching it yet, but I
It's
will check
not
it
a
out.
long competition, but it definitely is.
Yeah. So yeah, that's CM Punk number 7 for me. Who is number 6 for you?
This is where I had Shiri. Um, one of, if not the best member of the Stardom roster. I'm always looking forward to her matches. They never disappoint me. But I had to. She could not break into my top five. My top five is just
Again,
maybe.
like she's probably only where she was on my list because I don't watch Stardom regularly. Like I'm sure I would have had her like much higher, probably closer. Maybe not as high as you do, but probably closer if I watch Stardom like on a regular
She's
basis.
good for at least one 9 rated match on Cage match a year, if not more than one.
Mm-hmm.
This year
Yeah,
she already has one already this year.
yeah. She's the kind of wrestler that you look through the cage match guide and it's like everything is like a pretty dark green. Like it's you're not getting many light greens out of her. Like it's pretty like 7 and higher. Um, number 6, a guy who really this year has had such a good run, and it's weird to say that because he's always been so great, but like really has had what felt like a major comeback run, like a return to form, and that's Kenny Omega. He's been so good. It was so hard for me to not put him any higher, but I think the guys above him just deserve it a bit more. But absolutely have loved what Kenny's been doing. He's still, the wrestling, the god of professional wrestling. Like he's still, fuck. I mean, he's just so awesome. So Kenny Omega number 6 for me. Into the top 5. Who is your 5th best wrestler over 35?
This top five could just legitimately be my top five wrestlers in the world right now. Maybe minus my number five. He wouldn't probably make that five. We have Orange Cassidy from it.
Okay, absolutely.
Thought about earlier. Love the conglomeration. I've always loved Orange Cassidy. I called Speedball by the breath of fresh air. When AEW first started, Orange was the true breath of fresh air. The guy who just proved AEW was going to be different.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, just the guy that is the perfect mix of goofball and legit wrestling. Like he's just such a he's the perfect like middle ground between R-Truth and Kenny Omega. Like it is he's so good at the yeah, it's a great pick. Number 5 for me, this is where I put Swerve Strickland. He's pretty new to this list. He is only 35 years old, but and for over 35, we just mean past like 35 and over. It's just easier to say 35 over 35. He is great. He is everything he does is so entertaining and feels so real. Like he just feels so passionate about every little feud. Like he could, they could build a feud with him and somebody around like for example, a Swerve Strickland in a feud around a Japanese shampoo commercial, he'd reel me in, and I would care. I would really care who got that shampoo commercial.
I'd probably buy the goddamn shampoo if he won.
Yeah, Yeah, exactly. Like he would really make me care. So that's why we watch wrestling, and I yeah, absolutely. Number 5, Swerve Strickland. Who do you have at 4?
So Swerve not made my list just because of the fact that it didn't like, register that he was 35 and over. To me, it just didn't feel right. I guess.
Okay, that's fair.
Give me another week and he definitely would have. Number 4, Mystico.
Okay, okay, I have him coming up. Let's talk Mystico.
He's
What do you
not
got on?
he's not number 4 because the three above him are that much better. He's number 4 because these next three are just as good as him, but a little. I watch them more.
Mhm.
Mystico has the sellout record, the shit, every record on the book pretty much, and he just every match seems to be perfect. Regular word, perfect. There's almost no mistake.
Mhm. He's the number one guy in CMLL and is a consistent show stealer in AEW. Like it's like he's realistically, give it a couple of years, he could be the number one guy in both companies simultaneously, and I wouldn't be shocked. He is absolutely insane. He is so good. Really, really has brought in the last few years has brought his legacy back to where it should be after the dud WWE run. Um, and it is really
It's
just
incredible
so
how that failed.
yeah. It's not only is it incredible how it failed, but it's also incredible the way he brought himself back up to the top. The way he took that adversity and put CMLO back on the map and like really made it a promotion that I care about now. You know what I mean? So fair to Mystico. I'll have him in a bit. My number 4. This is where I had Io Sky. Um, she is just so good. I knew for sure she'd be in my top 5. One of the best like 3 or 4 women's wrestlers in the world. And is the top woman on my list for the 35 over 35. Like we said, absolutely incredible. Not too much more to say than what we've already talked about. Top 3. Who you got third? Bronze medal here for you.
Chicago Man Punk.
Okay. What are your thoughts on CM Punk right now? I guess.
Just always putting on the best match of the night in WWE every time he's giving a match. Um, which he's always dragging people to good matches too.
Mm-hmm. He really he does a good like you say dragging people to good matches, but really what it is he drags people out of the mold of WWE style, the WWE style. Like he drags people into wrestling just a completely different type of match than they normally do. And I think that's what's so impressive about him. So I had him 7th. Like I said at the very top of this, the top 10 could have been completely reordered if I had just been feeling a little bit different today. You know what I mean? Like it's just so tough. My number 3. This is where I have Gunther. I think he's the best wrestler in WWE, arguably the best wrestler in the world, and is just so good at being at like just playing a heel. Everything he did with AJ at the beginning of the year was so great. I am. He wrestled Rollins on Mania, which seemed kind of hurriedly put together. Like maybe some plans had shifted around. Maybe Grok changed his mind on a few things there, but is still, even though he didn't really shine out at Mania this year, he has shown it. Every other opportunity you've given him. So number 3 right now is for me is Gunther. Who do you have number 2?
Number 2 is right for Kenny Omega.
Okay. You got anything else to add on Kenny?
He's the best spot machine for a reason.
Yep. That's fair. That's fair. I think really just he probably was only 6 for me because of his work before this MJF feud and before this kind of current year that he's been having. But yeah, my number 2. This is where I put Mystico. So I'm starting to get the feeling we might have the same number 1.
Really?
If you don't, there's a huge hole on your list. Um, Go ahead. Who do you have at number 1?
Fukigen Death.
Yes,
No. No. Jonathan Moxley.
John Moxley. John Moxley. He was 1 as soon as I started the list. He was yeah. He is just like, regardless of age, arguably number 1 in the world right now. Like, is makes everything he does, even when it's not for the world title, so important. Um, like it's just it's really the best way to sum up how great he is that we didn't have a single, like, we had a handful of guys that were close to each other on this list, but we both agreed independently John Moxley's number 1. That is really what, like, shows how far ahead he is of everybody else. Yeah, what do you have a Mox? What are your thoughts?
Man, I feel like everything that I could say about John Moxley has already been said by somebody else way better than I can say it.
Yeah,
Or like we're as a group of people, wrestling fans, we're running out of good compliments to say about John Moxley that haven't already been said before.
he is the man, dude. Like this, he's just like I imagine I feel the way about John Moxley that, like, people my dad's age felt about Stone Cold. Like, he is just the man, and has been for so long. And
He is
he's also
the pro wrestler.
hilarious. Like, when he wants to be funny, he is so funny. He has great comedic timing. He is yeah, he is the pro wrestler, right? Like, he is the wrestler right now. All props to Katsuyori Shibata, but like
He is
he is
Randy
the
the Ram.
template.
He is Randy the Ram Robinson.
Yeah, he is the template of what a professional wrestler should be right now in my mind. And again, a guy who can, have just as great of a match with Zack Sabre Jr. as he can Will Ospreay, as he could Mystico, like as he could Gunther, like whoever you wanted to put him in the ring with, he could have just an electric match, regardless of style, regardless of size. He could put together a story and put together a match like no other. And it's so awesome. And it's also just awesome the ups and downs he's had in his life and in the world of wrestling, and betting on himself and leaving from WWE to go show up on Double or Nothing 2019, and just like everything he's been through since. Like, it's just so awesome for John Moxley to be here. It's like you said, we've ran out of good things to say about him. That took way longer than I thought it would. Honestly, I think we had a lot better conversation than I was expecting. And as I said to you in a text earlier, New Japan just doesn't have the roster to justify a 2-night wrestling Dontaku. We're just gonna skip Dontaku predictions because it's a lot of like, why are we doing this?
Yoshinobu Kanemaru is going to win every single match on the card, even the ones he's not in. Booking it
Absolutely.
right now.
We're already pushing 2 hours. Do you want to do a tight GCW corner here? Table light tubes, St. Robin's hinges. Time for Shane's GCW corner.
Manders is one call. Manders is going to win the title in Iowa. Calling it right now. Also in Iowa is the most exciting tag match they've done in a while.
Mm-hmm.
Big if you're a fan of Mr. Gary J and Anakin Murphy,
Mm-hmm.
who on this
Midwest
podcast
legends.
we are big fans of.
Mm-hmm.
They are getting their chance to take on Shit, somebody. I can't find it though. I can't find it, but they're taking on somebody, and it's gonna be a good match.
GCW.
Oh, KJ Orso and Sam Stackhouse.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that is a pretty big time matchup there. Unsigned and don't care. Um, anything else big? I know we're kind of in the honeymoon phase of Mania weekend, and we're getting
This Saturday, they're at the 2300 Arena. Nick Gage, Bear Bronson,
so
six-way
awesome.
ultra-violent TLC match. KJ Orso, Ricky Morton,
Okay,
Joey Janela versus Viperous, and Atticus Killer versus Marcus Mathers for the title.
nice. So awesome for Bear Bronson that he is put himself in a spot where you say Nick Gage versus Bear Bronson, and I'm not even like surprised. I'm just like, "Yup, awesome, let's do it." Anything else?
That's all I got for this extremely quick GCW corner because we took 2 hours talking about old wrestlers.
Yeah, since we talked about old people, yeah. Um, top three things this week. What's the bronze handshake this week?
So this week was kind of a down week for me in wrestling. It was kind of tough to put the top three together. So let's just go with you first. I want to hear what you thought was the best stuff.
Bronze hot dog. First up here, the Young Bucks and the Rascals versus the Dogs and the Death Riders from Collision. Kicked off playoff Palooza Collision. I thought it was just a really fun match. Like you said, not this week, not the hottest week in wrestling, just because we're coming down from everything that happened the last couple weeks. But I really like that match, so I went with that bronze. Um, what you got for the bronze handshake?
Mark Davis, Will Ospreay.
That's the silver hot dog. So we're pretty in line on that. The pile driver on the edge of the ring and then doing the doctor's stoppage was awesome. Do you got your silver?
My silver is from, believe it or not, NXT. I just think that the Will Cruz debut was perfect.
All right, well, we can give it to Will Cruz. That's once you said NXT, I was like, yeah, I know exactly what he's going with here. Um, and my gold was Darby Ciampa. That was the best match this week. That was the best thing in wrestling this week. Same for you.
Correct. Yep.
Yeah, Darby Ciampa.
Oh wait,
This
I'm a
world.
fucking.
Wait, you want to change it? You want to change something?
Let's change. Let's change. My bronze.
Okay.
So I totally forgot that All Star Grand Kingdom was this week, and that I watched it because it was like
Must have been a
I
great show.
was drunk as fuck
Okay.
in Vegas.
Yeah.
But I remember losing my fucking mind to the Drunkers Crash Hardcore Tag Team match between me, Vita Locas, Rina Yamashita, and Suzu Suzuki, and Hanako and Maika. Um, I am damn sure that this show will be on my top three next week when I actually watch it sober
Uh-huh.
and not in Vegas and not drunk on my mind.
Yeah. Next week we'll also we'll talk about the Hogan documentary. I watched the first two episodes, but I haven't been able to finish it. I'll finish it by next week, and we can talk about that next week. Um. So we can skip most of the lightning round, but I do want to know your excitement level for Vikingo versus Mini Vikingo this week in AAA. It's
Like a
announced
13 out of 12 out of 7.
today. Yeah,
Figure the
like
math on that.
100%. Yeah. Yep. All right. Would you rather Would you rather get thrown off the Hell in a Cell like Mick Foley or tied to a stretcher and swung into the post like Rey Mysterio?
Both are gonna hurt like fuck.
Both are going to hurt like fuck. The Foley one, it's a way bigger height, but you have a little bit more agency of how you land. The Mysterio one, it's less height, less impact, but you're falling face first.
Yeah. But it's from a way lower height.
Yeah.
It
So
kind
you
of.
got to kind of weigh it.
Am I falling onto a 90s table or a 2026 table?
I'm like the exact King of the Ring 98, the spot where Taker throws him off the Hell in a Cell through the table. You're taking that. Taker's throwing you off.
I think I'm going to go with Ray then.
Could we go with Ray? Yeah. Yeah, I'd probably go Ray too. I think just the lower height is probably where I'd rather less impact, worse landing than better landing, way higher impact. That's what I'd go. Like I said, next week we'll talk about the Hogan documentary. We'll talk about Wrestling Dontaku. With that, just enjoy wrestling.